Uh, I don't really got an intro for this. This is some dumb shit, but let me go ahead and explain on this. So recently there was a viral tweet that popped up from a Dragon Ball LARP account. And these Dragon Ball LARP accounts, all they do is they get on, they try to roleplay as characters, but it's incredibly corny and they drop a bunch of bad takes. But anyways, they dropped this tweet. Etika was a lolicon with some Ninjago gif attached to it. And this sparked a whole bunch of bullshit on the timeline as per usual. Now, I'm gonna stand on my 10 toes when I say this. I've always talked about how much I loved Etika's content and how much I was inspired by Etika. And I was actively watching, okay? If y'all don't know about Written in Ice, don't talk to me.
You know who it is? It's the Iceman Etika all day. I'm gonna start off with that piff. Y'all know about that piff already. You know what? I had to do it. It's the remix. It's just the remix. It's just the remix. It's just the remix. But yeah, let me tell y'all exactly what it's about.
I guarantee most of these people who love to talk about Etika post his death, I guarantee you they couldn't name 3 videos he actually made. I guarantee y'all could not name 3 videos that this nigga actually made. My top favorite Etika video was the Thick Mob review for Smash 4, where the intro was talking about she ain't fat, bruh. She ain't. And then my other one was the one where he got the $20 check from Sony and he went to go dance in front of their building in New York. Okay, like if you can't name top Etika moments, you're not a real Etika fan. You only started LARPing the nigga because he died, because he took his own life, and you hate Keemstar. But let's get back to the main point. Etika was above all else a degenerate. Let's not get shit twisted, okay? Etika was surrounded by Faku. And if you know what Faku is, well, Faku is the largest English hentai manga publisher in the world. It's not ridiculous to say that Etika grew up in the anime community. And if you know how things were back then, because around the time when Etika passed was around the shift where anime became way more mainstream. It became the main focal point. It was seen as uncommon for you to come across somebody and they were not a fan of some sort of anime, okay? But during those prehistoric ages, right, it was common to talk about Gooning. It was common for people to talk about their interest in fictional characters. It was common for people to hide behind that defense. Now, as things have gone on and changed, yeah, some of those takes did not age well. Was Etika a lolicon? I definitively cannot say he is not, because what I do know is that he holds a stance that there is a fine line between reality and between fictional imagery. And this is a common talking point you see a lot of people who support lolicon agree with. However, with Etika, we cannot make that connection that he is a pedophile. I've seen people try to make that connection that if you're a lolicon, you're a, and to me, I've seen the word be drugged down into the mud and people always want to attribute it to something that is not. With that being said though, I see a lot of people try to run a defense for Etika, being like, hey bro, he was going through a tough time, right? He was notably going through mental health issues. However, let's not try to rewrite history, okay? If you were a part of those communities, this is the same Etika who was happy to get a follow back from Shadbase, the same Shadbase that went to go draw Keemstar's underage daughter.
Is art controversial? I think it's funny as, hold on a second, where's Shad, man? Shad, what's up with you, bro? I like it. You follow each other? He follows me? When does Shad, man, follow me? Yo! Legitimately, this nigga followed me. How soon was this? Whoa! Yo! He followed me recently. The nigga hit me up like I was his second to last following. Whatever. I don't know how do you describe it. Yo, man, Shad, man, yo. This nigga's a Joy-Con boy. Legitimately, this nigga is a Joy-Con boy. I feel you out here, man. Yo, props to Shad, bro. Keep doing with that artwork. I'm loving it, dogs. You make some good shit. I mean, I'm not into, you know, the really controversial shit, but a lot of the shit you do, I'm into it, man. So props to you. Shad, thanks a lot. Shad Base came through, hitting the Joy-Con boys up with some love. Can't argue with that, man. In terms of asking for commissions, I mean, nigga's probably busy. Shave a piece of your hair and send it to me through an envelope from Fancy Zelda. I could do that if you really want.
Etika was on the wild side of the internet. He ain't had no smoke for iDub saying nigga in his videos, because that's just what the culture was at the time period. Am I confident that if Etika lived to the modern day today, that he would probably shift away from some of those more controversial views? I can't say for certain, especially when I look at cases like Heavenly Controller of someone who only triple, quintuple, doubled down into his raunchiness, and that led to his own fall off of sorts. But I see this point talking about, okay, well, if Etika is allegedly a lolicon, then what does that make it different from Chibi Reviews? Let me break this down. See, Etika is different from Chibi Reviews in the sense that Etika has always stood on his beliefs of being open and accepting to all walks of life. Etika don't give a fuck about your representation. He don't give a fuck about if you kiss dudes, if you kiss women, if you kiss non-binary people. No, he was open and he was accepting of people of all walks of life. And for a lot of people, it's hard to comprehend that someone could be so accepting and welcoming, but also probably be a degenerate gooner. It's hard because when you think about people and who present and love that lolicon shit, right? You think of people like Chibi Reviews, and Chibi Reviews more and more over time has become a lot more antagonistic. He is not very welcoming of people with the flags and the bios and shit like that, and that's because Chibi Reviews has become a lot more hateful as time has gone on. Is some of it a little bit justified? I mean, you give or you can take some away, but I think that when you think of Chibi Reviews, you think of how hateful he is, how much he loves to antagonize groups of people, how, quite frankly, he does not fuck with you if you are of certain groups. Something that I forgot to touch on while recording this is that Chibi's been very, very proud, and he kind of adheres to that old school otaku culture where it was common to talk about how much you loved shotacons, how much you love all these aspects of tabooness that is present within hentai. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe that at some point when Pornhub posts their like yearly results is one of the largest categories for that like section of like taboo shit that people like love to get into, right? People love to get their rocks off. But there's also that point of how Chibi Reviews is very outspoken about how much he is or whatever the flight. Niggas think he's weird for honestly reasonable opinions. I think like to be very proud and to share those interests, good for you, but as part of that, I can also call those behaviors weird, my nigga. I can call shit weird, especially as someone who grew up in a family, right? Now I had a younger sister and an older sister, bro. Like, no, bro, that shit's weird to me. So it's a fair reason to hate that nigga, but you don't see that same behavior exhibited in Etika where he's going around, he's talking about how much he loves seeing, shit like that. But something I also probably didn't touch on is that as being a part of that anime culture way back then, it was common for people to joke around like, oh, I love lolicons, like, oh, that's my waifu, right? It was just, I hate to say this, but in the most truthful, heartful way I can put it, it is a product of its time. Yeah. All right, there's a lot of genuine hatred for Chibi in these spaces for a couple of valid reasons just like that, and that's where the clear-cut difference between the two is. There's also a little bit more of a dynamic of race when you consider it, because Etika, let's be real, that is a conventionally attractive black dude, stands over 6 feet tall, muscular, and especially if you were into these degenerate spaces at the time period. Hell, just look at Low Tier God talking about the BBC complex. That nigga Etika was a tall ass conventionally attractive dude. And it is clear, right, when you look at any type of situation that occurs, if somebody is attractive enough, they can skirt past any sort of accountability, any type of responsibility, any type of situation that would require them to face some sort of backlash just because they look good. When you think of a degenerate loser, you think of Chibi Reviews. He doesn't look, he doesn't have to, I hate to talk about looks maxing and shit like that, but when you don't see the sharp jawline, you don't see the chiseled physique, you don't see the muscular body. No, you see someone who, quite frankly, I hate punching down, but let's be real. When you think of degenerate anime fan gooners, you think of Chibi Reviews. Etika is someone who could probably, you would take a glance at him and you would think he was probably playing the 2Ks. You probably think that he was running up gang, like rap battles. He was probably playing basketball and shit like that. He was very athletic, and we associate those traits with his physical physique, his looks, his demeanor, all of that. So people are, I understand why people got smoked for lolicons. For me, in my personal stance, in my personal opinion, you weird if you engage in that. That's definitely a side-eyeable behavior. None of my, like, in my personal circle, I don't think I could rock with a nigga like that who still to this very day engages in that subset of Japanese culture. But I'm be honest, I think there are more pressing issues across the world. I think literally we had the Epstein come out where we're connecting, where shit, niggas is finding out that Epstein is low-key like Eisen. That nigga like low-key orchestrated the whole shift of the culture. But that shit takes layers and layers to unpack. But generally speaking, I think a lot of people are weird for digging this shit up. And let's hit on something real quickly. If you on Twitter and you are a roleplay account, you're always banger farming. Let's not get this shit twisted. I've seen the Vidal account try to pop out and drop some half-hearted apology and be like, ah, shit, I didn't know. No, you hopped out. You said bro deserved to die. Like, there was an incident that I vividly remember, and I'm going to play some clips from the stream of it back in 2019, where a notable Pokemon YouTuber, King Nappy, got exposed for talking inappropriately to people, being an overall bad person, for lack of a better word. And Etika took a very strong stance against doing shit to real life minor people. Minor people is crazy, but taking advantage of your fans and also using that to form sexual relationships with them, especially if they're under the age of consent, that's wrong.
Longer being silent about.
Didn't think that the guy was gay. I mean, him being gay has nothing to do with it. But I mean, yeah, if you're, I guess, you know, if he wasn't open about his sexuality before, then it would be surprised. Like, because I mean, but then again, you know, nowadays I don't really put too much value on people's sexuality in the first place anyways. So, you know, that'll always be something that I'm just sort of blase about. But yeah, I can see for some people being like, oh, wow, wait, he's oh, I didn't realize he was not only a predator, but he was also, that doesn't make things worse, you know? And I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable and shit like that, man. Because it's like, yo, like, it ain't about him being gay, but it's just like the fact that you're out here and you're 25 years old, dog. You can't be talking to a minor like that. I don't care how old they look, bro. Like, listen, if niggas were out here talking about, what's her name, Catch Me Outside girl like that, bro, it's okay, man. Now, let me know in the chat, does deleting old tweets, that's kind of a guilty sign, isn't it?
At time, it was roughly around 80 deleted messages.
80 messages!
Interactions and other messaging outlets were also being deleted as well. You'd think that'd be the end of it, but eventually another person came out as well with a screen cap showing Nappy also exhibiting behaviors of flirting with.
What you doing? Laying here trying to sleep. Help me, baby. How slow? I don't know. Talk to me, dummy. Text me. I did. You never replied. And this is a minor he's talking to?
Young fans. Anyway, that
young fans?
Again, or of it, but eventually another person came out with a screen cap.
Etika, delete your tweets before it's too late. Listen, man, I don't know if I've ever had sexual advances to children. I don't know if I've fallen in that category.
In every context. So with this take in mind, we can definitively cross off the fact that Etika was there is no arguments to be made there. But above all else, I don't know this nigga. He is long since gone, and to dig this up is weird and under any circumstance, because there is no way for him to defend himself, for him to maybe have the opportunity to show growth, to show change. That shit is long since past. So above all else, the thing I'm taking away from this is for these Dragon Ball roleplay accounts, y'all niggas don't do nothing but get on the timeline, drop bad takes, and piss people off. And then to go hide behind your AI art account and be like, I'm sorry, guys, I apologize. When no, if you can get on the internet and you can deem death on somebody who is long since passed and disrespected dead like that very quick, I'm going to be honest with you, whatever apology you got in the tank, it's no good, no bueno, bruh, because you can't hop on here and wish death on niggas unless you got to make sure that every P is crossed, every T is lined up, every I is dotted. You got to make sure you know your facts before you shoot that bullet, because that's not something you can easily walk back, okay? Especially when it was someone who died because for a variety of reasons, but in the list of those reasons was because of a community that quite frankly treated him like shit. So obviously I'm like, I try not to hold grudges, but obviously I want people to grow and change over time. But let's be real, bro. If you're gonna get on here and you're gonna tweet out, I hate this air of where people find out awful information and then they gotta respond with a gif, they gotta respond with, oh shit, nigga, not him, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, if you responded with a gif, you obviously trying to engage in some sort of Instagram, not Instagram, but like Twitter likes, comments, right? You trying to boost up your numbers. You trying to appear funny. I don't believe that's generally your reaction when shit happens. You respond with it like a fucking gift, bro. That's childish as fuck. You banging for me. And my thing is, if you gonna say something wrong and you gonna believe that all other clones deserve to die, center your 10 tones, die with that shit. My 10s, I've said it once and I'll say it again. I personally don't fucking care. I think there are more pressing issues. However, that is a behavior that if any one of my niggas around me exhibited, yo, you getting the fuck out of here, bro. I don't rock with that shit. You weird as fuck. But everybody got skeletons in the closet. I'm not shocked. So yeah.